What's up, everybody? This your boy AB, and you are now listening to the Unpopular Opinion Sports Podcast. I am your host, AB.
And it's your boy, Pat.
And we got another episode on the way for y'all, man. The Week 4 matchups that we just passed from the NFL. We're going to talk about three of those. We're going to talk about the Chiefs and the Jets. We're going to talk about the Commanders and the Eagles. And we're going to talk about the Bills and the Dolphins. So we're going to start off with the Chiefs and the Jets. The Chiefs won that game 23-20. Zach Wilson actually outplayed Patrick Mahomes, words I thought I would never say out of my mouth. What did you think about that game?
The Jets showed a little promise, and they showed that the Chiefs have a weakness. Super Mahomes is not so super as he once was yet. This season, I feel like he will come along because over the last couple of years, they lose a couple of their major pieces, like losing Tyreek, and the Chiefs always find a way. But Mahomes is scrambling a lot more. He doesn't have the time. His receivers are not getting open, and teams are trapping Kelsey. The Jets did a really good job of bottling them up. If you take away a couple of bad plays at the end where Zach Wilson got terrified of the Chiefs defense rushing at him and fumbled a snap from the shotgun, and that questionable holding call on Sauce Gardner at the end of the game.
Yeah, very questionable.
I feel like the Jets had a good chance to come back after digging themselves a 17-0 hole. It's Zach Wilson's first game, throwing multiple touchdowns and no interceptions. Looks good. That defense can hold up. If Zach Wilson can look like this, the Jets may have a chance to salvage that season just a little bit. I still don't see them making the playoffs, but they may be able to salvage some grace.
Yeah, man, look, I'll say this about Zach Wilson. He made some really impressive throws that day. I know New York Jets fans do not want to hear that. I know they're sick of Zach Wilson. They don't want any false hope. But let me be here to tell y'all, Zach Wilson definitely has talent. There's a reason he was so highly picked. I think he was the second or third pick. I can't remember, but it's the top three
Second,
pick.
if I'm not mistaken.
Top 3 pick for them, and there's a reason why. And I agree with what Chris Collinsworth actually said on the broadcast. He said that when Zach Wilson drops back, he needs to, after his second read, he needs to throw it away. Mm-hmm. If your first read not open, your second read not open, you throw it away, or check down, I would say. That's how he needs to play. He doesn't need to think too much, process too much. He was getting a lot of Patrick Mahomes comparisons coming out of college just because of his wily nature, scrambling out of the pocket. They put him in more rollout situations, more play action stuff. I like that. Get him out in space so he could see. You know what I'm saying? He's still a shorter. I think he's only like 6. He's not that tall of a quarterback. So it could be a number of things that's rattling him, but getting him out in space, getting him on the move, I think is really what they need to do more of. And just depend on that run game. As far as the Chiefs, I think Isaiah Pacheco is a godsend for them. If they didn't have Isaiah Pacheco, man, they would be struggling. Like the fact that he could still get you 115 on the ground and a tub, running like he hates the ground. He be stomping on the ground. Like he run with such force every time. Like people don't even want to tackle him. I think they thought Scott Moore was going to be a little better. I think they thought Kadarius Toney was going to be a little better, being able to get open. Those guys are struggling, but you always got Mr. Dependable and Kelsey, and the Chiefs won that game, even though Patrick Mahomes struggled.
Couple questions I got, though, is why get rid of Tyreek and Mecole? Mecole is now not even getting any burn with the Jets. That was a waste of the Jets picking him up, and the Chiefs definitely could use that speed right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they, sacrificed to pay Mahomes and, make sure Chris Jones is taken care of and stuff like that. I think they'll still be fine. I think they need to try to maybe make a trade. They got a lot of picks now. They got a lot of draft capital. So, they could potentially, trade for one. I don't think they will, but they should look into that. You know what I'm saying?
Or just play Justin Ross.
I think that's
big
the
body
reason
receiver.
Why he's not playing. I mean, he did good in preseason, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. But let's move on to the next one. So, Eagles and Commanders. The Eagles took that game 31-34. We ended up failing to stop them from scoring a touchdown in the last seconds. That really pissed me off, the fact that we allowed that. But we ended up coming out on top 34-31. What do you think of that game?
Sam Howell is no one to play with. Granted, I really hate saying that. Being a Duke fan, I really hate giving props to any of these Tar Heel players. But Sam Howell's been looking great. He's had a couple games this year, like the game against the Cardinals, where he had to fight his way back into it and get a late second drive and push the ball into the end zone. And he's been getting it done. That's really promising for those guys out in Washington, considering that their defense is no slouch. Granted, they did give up a lot this game. I mean, the Eagles are pretty good. It looks like they may actually be starting to kind of get it together. They realize they have to use A.J. Brown a lot more if they want to be successful. You can't just run the ball. But great game overall. I mean, they always seem to come to play y'all well. Terry McLaurin opened up this week, man. He always plays really well. Slade don't want no problems with it. Slade wants no smoke with him. I mean, if they can do this, man, they can really make some noise this year. It hurts me to say because the Commanders are horrible. But sticking with the Eagles like they do, if they just use this energy every week, I mean, they can get it done. They have to find some type of production on the ground, though. No production on the ground. Sam Howell is not going to get it done all year like this. But, I mean, he's been holding the foot so well, and he's only going to get better. So he may end up a pretty decent quarterback a couple years down the line.
I mean, he's giving them competent quarterback play. You know what I'm saying? 290 with a touchdown with the pass rush constantly getting in his face. He's still completing passes.
Mm-hmm.
They had him throw the ball 41 times, so they're trusting him. I think they do need to lean on the run game a little bit more, but we also will stop in the run game, so I get why, and they
tough front seven.
Yeah, tough front seven. So, and I mean, it was a pretty balanced game across the board. Like, I thought, they were going to run away for it for a while. They had a 17-7, and then we started kind of that field goal right before half really helped us out, gave us a lot of hope going in 17-10, and then from there, we started getting it together. Like you said, I think the OC and Jalen Hurts are starting to, get a connection now. A.J. Brown, I think we're going to use Dallas Goedert a lot more. I'm kind of shaky on why he's not getting as many targets and stuff like that, but I think Dallas Goedert is going to be implemented more. Swift, obviously, making a huge impact. He didn't have a great game this time, but he's, keeping the first downs going. He's being able to get in the end zone, got a touchdown today. So I think if we could build off of this, like I said, I think, now that the Dolphins lost, from the last podcast, I was saying that was going to be the big matchup. But I'm looking forward to that Cowboys game. Really looking forward to that Cowboys game, seeing how we do there. So, but good game from the Commanders, man. They always, like you said, wake up for us. But we come like Dion said. So look, then we're gonna talk about the Bills and the Dolphins. So the Bills took that game 48-20. And they're now 3-1. Dolphins are now 3-1. They trying to fight for that division. What do you think about that game?
Josh Allen has completely bounced back from that week one meltdown against the Jets.
Yeah.
It just seems like the Jets really just wanted him more that game because in the 3 games since that game, Josh Allen has been looking like a man on a mission. I mean, he's not missing a lot of passes. If I'm not mistaken, he's upwards of like 70-75% over those 3 games with his completion percentage. The man's not turning the ball over. Him and Stephon Diggs are just having a party on whoever's defense is in front of them. That game started out like we projected last week. There was a whole lot of offense. It was a high-scoring game. The first 5 possessions of the game, there were touchdowns. And then Raheem Mostert stole the momentum from the Dolphins when he fumbled the ball. Granted, they were able to recover it, but that turned into a 3-and-out drive. Then there were a few punts between the 2 teams, but the Bills were the next team to score, to take a 2-score lead. And as soon as they take a 2-score lead, what happens? Another Raheem Mostert fumble. That is absolutely draining to your team. So when you see things like that happening, it goes from a 14-14 game to a 31-14 game at half. That is horrifying. I mean, Tua didn't play horrible. He didn't play great. He needed to produce more. A-Chain only had a couple yards, but he was the brightest. I mean, he only had a couple touches, but he was the only bright spot of that game. 8 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is the only bright spot for the Dolphins this game. They have to go back in and figure something out. Those linebackers and Jalen Phillips and Andrew Van Ginkel and those guys, they're going to have to work on getting to the quarterback a little better because the Bills' defense and the Bills' offense combined may be one of the scariest things in the league right now.
And that's the thing that I hate for the Bills, too, though. They lost Tre'Davious White for the year again.
Oh, that hurts.
So that's really going to hurt them. But they did a really good job on Tyreek and Waddle. You know what I mean? Tyreek only had 3 catches on the day. Waddle only had 4. Both had them under 60 yards receiving. So I think, the secondary obviously doing a good job. I'm really impressed by the Bills' pass rush. Like, their pass rush seems more relentless this year than in previous years, which was the problem. That's why they went out and got Von Miller, because they felt like they weren't generating enough pressure. But the back end is still better than solid. They're probably top 5 on the back end, and now they're starting to get some pass rush. So, they had Tua a little uncomfortable in the pocket a lot of times, having to step up or move to the side or whatever. He couldn't really set his feet. So I think that's why you saw, Tyreek not have as much, or Waddle threw off the timing. And like you said, a chain, he played really well on his 8 touches, 1-on-1, 2 tubs. I like it for my fantasy purposes, definitely, because I picked him up in free agency. But yeah, Bills look amazing, as we thought they would. You know what I'm saying? We knew like the Bills were going to be a really good team. This is how they need to look around playoff time if they want to compete for that championship that they won. I think they could make the Super Bowl this year. I think this could be the year for them.
Mm-hmm. I do like Gregory. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Russo. He's been doing really well, as well as he's getting a little older and getting a little more experience under his belt. He's creating a lot of pressure and wreaking havoc on that other side of Von Miller, and that's been making a big deal for them too.
Yep. And I don't know, that trade injury might be bigger, but we'll have to see how they capitalize off of that to be right about them being a Super Bowl pick. But they also got to get consistency out of the run game too. They still running Murray, and Cook is not really producing the yards per carry that he needs to keep them going on first downs and stuff. So
he played pretty well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This was a horrible game for him though, but yeah, last couple of weeks I feel like he did all right.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good.
He's iffy. He's still getting the hang of things.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Hold on, wait.
What's up?
Before we get out of here,
what's up?
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
This year, Bill, you're on my hot seat. A lot of things have been going on since Brady left. And I just need one thing I ask from the Patriots. Doesn't look like we're going to the playoffs. Bill, save your legacy. Please. If you do not make some kind of run before the end of the season, we need you to just go ahead and retire, man. Just save your legacy. Brady was the one that's looking like he was responsible for all of the success in New England. As much as it hurts me to say. Just please, man. Save your legacy.
And on that note, we out. You can cut that part out. Just to end it with what you said.